Well, Mike, good to be with you. And Notre Dame now has an offensive coordinator, a very familiar name for Irish fans from last year when he joined the staff as tight end coach. It is Gerad Parker. It's official. He met the media on Monday. And the first thing I'll say is he absolutely stole that press conference. I was truly impressed, Mike, with the way he handled a lot of questions, including what in the world his role was at West Virginia in terms of play calling. But I thought he had a really good day.
I mean, he said "off shucks" in there. I mean, when you drop "off shucks" in a press conference, I'm sold. But yeah, you like the good Southern accent in there. He's a good, kind of family faith football guy. I'm rooting for him. I'm pulling for him at Notre Dame. Seems like a really nice guy and a good recruiter from everything I'm told. Source called him a war daddy. I think I talked about that last week. So. Yeah, I mean, think it's look, with anyone they would hire, Darin, it's going to be a we'll see, whether it's Colin
Absolutely.
Klein or me or Gerad Parker or Darin Pritchett, whoever the offense coordinator was going to be. It's going to be a we'll see. There can be home runs on paper, but otherwise you don't know. I mean, Tommy Rees was hired as offensive coordinator with absolutely no experience, and 3 years later he's going to Alabama for the same position. So, which if we can have is that a lateral move or an upgrade? We can have that debate a different day, but it's Alabama football. But yeah, going back to your point, thought Gerad Parker had carried himself really well in his press conference. Good speaker, really good man. It's a solid get for the Irish.
Mike, I know that Mark has brought a couple other candidates to town. For whatever reason, they didn't work out. So he interviewed a member of his staff, someone he's known for a good amount of time, going back to their days at Purdue. Why do you think ultimately Marcus decided to go this direction?
Well, it's kind of, I mean, you're giving me a softball here. A big part of why he went this direction is because Ludwig and Colin Klein did, and that's a different discussion for a different day as well, whether it was more buyout related with Ludwig or, if he truly did, just have a change of heart or, whatever you want to call it, to stay at Utah. But that's a big part. I mean, I was told they had Zoom calls with, many candidates, but it was kind of narrowed down to the two that they brought on campus, and Klein and Ludwig. And I think when Ludwig turned them down, it was the buyout, different discussion for a different day. But I think that they just kind of were like, we're not restarting this thing. We did that. We like the guy we have in house. I think the comfort thing is that's real, and I think that's something that Marcus Sherman values, and people in the Goog feel like that he's got a brilliant football mind, and it kind of will continue this thing. And I think the sneaky big thing that not people are talking about enough, Darin, is Gino Guidugli, the quarterback's coach. This is Mike Singer gut talking with a little bit of sourcing in, but a lot of my gut is that this is a lot more of these two guys working together, quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator, Guidugli and Parker. I think they're working a lot more hand in hand. They're not co-coordinators, but I think Guidugli is going to be pretty involved in kind of the direction of the offense. So it's exciting. I really like the hire Guidugli. So much is focused on the Ludwig thing and in hiring Parker, but Guidugli, we're not talking about that enough. And when I say we, it's just talking about the Notre Dame, family and Twitter sphere and all that in general. Sneaky good hire for the Irish.
I'm not overly concerned about the coordinator not being the quarterback coach. I think there are many ways to do this. I think you can argue, Mike, when you have a quarterback coach who's not going to be focused on game planning and play calling, they can spend time with the starter and also spend more time with a Steve Angeli and continuing to get his skills up to a higher level. So I'm not overly concerned that the offensive coordinator is the tight end coach. In fact, you mentioned Guidugli. What happened at Cincinnati? He was the quarterback coach. Mike Denbrock was the offensive coordinator and a position coach, and that worked out very, very well as Cincinnati went to the playoffs. So I think if people are concerned about the offensive coordinator not being the quarterback coach, I'm totally fine with that.
Is there concern? I think the only thing is it's just
It's different.
uncommon that you're
Yeah.
yeah, it's different. It's uncommon that your quarterback or your offense coordinator is not your quarterback's coach. It's just that's just how it is, you know. You play quarterback, you're supposed to be the smart guy, you know, and you understand defenses, all that, and then you just kind of naturally train. Like the quarterback's coach is kind of the hot and up and coming guy, right? And um, uh, I think Aduli is going to be an offensive coordinator, whether it's at Notre Dame or somewhere else, in probably a couple years. His path as a coach just seems to be on an upward trend, and yeah, Gerad Parker. Yeah, I think we talked about this before we started recording. We don't really know what his whole deal at or West Virginia was, so he's got a little bit of experience in there. But I don't think we can look at his time at West Virginia
No.
and be like, that was a failure or success. It was just a whole weird ordeal. So yeah, blank slate for me for Gerad Parker. But again, just what we kind of seen and what I've gathered from him seems like a really nice guy, and a really smart football coach, good recruiter again. But what he'll do on the field, Darin, I got no idea. We'll see this fall.
One other thing from Parker's press conference, I just want to mention, and I think we're on the same wavelength here. Marcus Freeman, Gerad talked about a pro-style offense. I mean, today you look at the NFL, they're almost running a college-style offense. So pro-style offense doesn't really mean much to me. I don't think there's many teams across the country not running a form of a pro-style offense. Now, the air raid is a little different, but Mike, I think we're just going to see what a lot of teams are doing across the country. And also, I think you're going to see an offense that probably has some characteristics of the National Football League.
Darin, I remember playing NCAA, 11, 12,
14.
13, 14, those video games,
Yep.
right? And when you would pick your school that you were going to play as, there were different offenses. It would be spread offense, air raid, pro style, triple option. Nowadays, I mean, everyone's doing the same stuff.
Yep.
Obviously, your academy schools are, doing the triple option, but everyone's doing shotgun. I mean, it's everyone's spreading it out. Notre Dame might run more under center than some other schools, at times, but it's all the same stuff. What you want to call the offense, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, we're not having that discussion like we did a decade ago about different styles of offense, and everyone's starting to run a spread and look at what Oregon's doing. Everyone is doing this stuff. It's a copycat game. Total non-discussion for me. Think nothing of it.